Good morning. Welcome to today's webinar. We are here live at Evisys headquarters. My name is Shauna Mesher, Director of Sales and Marketing at Evisys, and to my right is Francesca Hester, Director
Hello.
of Client Success. Hello.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Again.
I know. I think this is maybe the first time in Evisys history where we've had a repeat guest 2 webinars in a row. I think, we just want to keep having you back.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
The last one, so let's keep that going.
Let's do it.
Thank you guys for joining us. One just really quick housekeeping thing before we get rolling today. At the bottom of your screen is a button that says Q&A. If you guys have any questions through this webinar and conversation, just type your questions in there. We have Kim as a panelist on the line, so we'll pause a few times through the webinar and ask if there's any questions and answer those for you guys. So again, thank you for taking the time out of your day to join us. We are talking today all about suggestive selling and the power of suggestive selling. What does it mean to sell versus clerk? So if you have a retail presence, if you have a retail store, listen up. This conversation is very much for you, especially the year of 2024 if you have a specialty retail store. There's a lot of challenges that come with that. So Francesca, I'm excited to have this conversation with you. We go way back for the audience that does not know that.
We do.
Long relationship. And just so you guys all know, tuning in, we're not historically software people.
Not at
last decade or so, and then Francesca's done some other things in the hot tub industry. So we feel like we have unique perspective on suggestive selling, and then really how Lou and Evisys can help you use the tools to suggestively sell and to really engage with your customers. So we're going to talk a bit about that today. With all that said, Francesca, I'm going to kind of throw it over to you and ask you, what's one of the most important tools that you used in the Evisys software to suggestive sell yourself, and then also empower your team to suggestive sell?
Yeah, that's such a great question and a really important one, because I would say, you got to picture a hot tub store, right? You've got your 2 people that are on for their day. They're waiting for their rotation. Someone walks in with like a disgusting jar of water, and they walk up to the counter and it's like, I don't want to mess my hot tub up, right? And the really fascinating thing is those people are just as important as who's coming in to buy a hot tub, right? And one thing that I think really helped our team was sales history, because when someone did come up to the counter, right, it wasn't just like, oh, here, let me test your water and off you go, right? You're low on chlorine.
Right.
It's really having a conversation. It's really digging into, how is their hot tub and how has it been treating them, and how long have you had it? And with all of that and the tool of having purchase history right at your fingertips, you can say, wow, you haven't bought, a certified filter cleaner in a year.
Yeah.
When was the last time you cleaned your filters, right? And just start having that conversation.
Yeah.
Same thing with any of the chemicals, right?
Yeah.
Or, you can really dive in and have a real honest conversation because you have the history. So that was a really cool tool that we used a lot. And it also helped us, take care of our client, but also upsell, right? It's like you came in for one thing, but if you're coming into my store in 2024 to a destination location, like, people are here to get everything they want.
Yeah.
They don't want to just come in and get the one thing and then get home and open their bin and being like, shoot, I forgot spot shock oxidizer or another test strip. All of that.
Yeah, it's so funny because we used to tell our team all the time, and it's really important to paint the picture, right? If somebody is walking into your specialty retail store, getting in their car, it's probably either raining or too hot wherever you live. It's one of the two. They're getting into their car, they're putting their seatbelt on, they're making the effort, you need to reciprocate and you need to take care of them in a way that Amazon won't, that Home Depot won't. Because they deserve that. And the reality is, if they do get home and a week later they're like, oh man, I do need pH increaser. Actually, I thought I wouldn't need it, but I do.
Yeah.
They're probably going to go to Amazon or to somewhere that's convenient because they put in all that effort to come see you, and maybe we didn't hit the nail there. So I think, Francesca, customer history and sales history is so important. I remember there was somebody who worked at the company we worked at prior, and I just remember sitting there, and she would come running in so excited. Oh my gosh, I just had a $400 supply sale, and these people only came in for chlorine. And we would always ask, cool how did you do it? What did you say? And her answer was pretty much the same every time. I looked at their history and we just drilled into every single thing. You haven't bought chlorine in 6 months. You're probably running low on that. It looks like you haven't bought new filters in 3 years. Oh, by the way, you've had your hot tub for 7 years. Have you ever replaced the cover? Because it doesn't look like you have through us.
Right.
It's like those things that
kind of set you apart.
Yeah, and customers aren't necessarily coming in saying, my cover looks okay, but I'm just wondering when I should buy a new one, right? But we know that the energy efficiency is really important. The weight, the water quality, rain getting in, algae, all that kind of stuff. Like, we know, you guys know, you know better probably than we do. So customer history, that's a really great tool to use to suggestively sell.
Absolutely. And I think that's like the nail on the head is like, it's a tool, right? And the magic of that is getting your people to really utilize the tool without it being clunky. That was another thing I really loved about it. It was just one click of a button. You could see it all. You're not going to 3 different things on your computer or digging through papers. Like, it's all right there. So that way you're actively engaging with your client and you don't have to walk away, because we all know what happens when you have to walk away. They're like, I gotta go, like 5 minutes, right? You're like, no, wait. You know, but you missed the opportunity.
That's such a good point, because in most companies, most of your guys' companies, right, your technicians are selling things out in the field. Your folks that are taking phone calls and scheduling could potentially be selling things and shipping them to the customers. So how difficult would it be if we had to jump between 3 different softwares to try to figure out what they bought? That wouldn't be a good client experience. So the fact that anything anyone in the company is doing is within the one product, because it's an all-in-one software that you can access from any internet browser. I mean, cool. There's nothing more powerful. That's such a good point. I'm gonna take just a really quick second. I know we haven't talked for too long, but Kim, I'm wondering if there's any questions out there.
Not at this point.
Cool. Awesome.
Thanks, ladies.
Yeah, thanks, Kim. So Francesca, that's all great. I see it. You've painted the picture really well. Let's get tangible really quick, and let's just come up with a scenario. Like, what tools do we have within Lou that make suggestive selling easy and doable for a salesperson, and quick, right? That's important, to make things quick and not have long conversations.
Yeah, that's a great question also. And one thing we did was we used what we call static kits, and that's software lingo. But basically what that does is, you know, we could make a chemical kit, like a startup kit, and we would have, you know, all the different items in there. And what's cool about, you know, with the software and how that helps you again as a tool, it's like your assistant, is it puts it all under kind of one SKU. And so what that does, right? Client comes in, you start engaging like we just talked about. Then you have this kit with literally everything they need. And if you need to add something else, that's easy. If you need to take something away and customize it, that's easy too. You can do all of that in the system. And then again, to your point, it's just like this very fluid transaction, right? And we've made it really easy for the salesperson. So they're not running around or looking to be like, oh, we didn't stock chlorine this morning. Whoops, you know, and like have to run into the back. So it's just all right there at your fingertips.
I love that. And I think that the picture I want to paint for everybody in the audience that maybe can't identify what that would look like in a real scenario is, imagine this, and you guys have all probably had this scenario. Customer walks in, their head's hanging low. They're like, I bought a hot tub, not from you guys. So sorry. And we're like, it's fine, right? We just want to take care of you. They're like, I bought an inflatable hot tub from Costco. What do I do? What do I need? And there's two scenarios here. Your salesperson can either grab a bottle of chlorine and test strips and say, this is what you need, here you go, and get back to Facebook or eating lunch or whatever they were doing that was so important before. We've all been guilty of it.
Yep.
Or they can say, fantastic, you bought that inflatable hot tub. We want to make sure you have a great soaking experience. How awesome that you made an investment in your health. What a great entry point to get into soaking, to see if you like soaking, and then you can invest in a bigger, better, whatever hot tub down the road. Let me take care of you. We have this kit here. It has everything that you need to balance your water, make sure your water is safe and clean for you and your family. You've got in the kit, you've got chlorine, you've got shock oxidizer, you've got your balancers, you've got test strips, and you even have a really cool card that we've created for you that gives you step-by-step instructions. It's laminated, so if it gets wet, it's good, and you can just keep it in that tote. And you literally, your salesperson can ring up that tote in 1 second.
Literally.
They just scan it and it pops up all of those SKUs, all those 10 SKUs.
Yeah.
What a different client experience.
Yeah, I mean, hands down. And I think too, not even that, but getting your people excited, when we say your people, your sales pros excited about engaging with people who didn't buy from you. I think that's really big, because I remember, to your point, being like, oh, ho hum, right? They're not coming in to buy a hot tub.
Yeah.
They're coming in to probably get chems, or they didn't buy from us. But I think where we really helped our sales pros is like, if you build that relationship at the counter, if you talk to them and get them excited about your company and how you help them, they're going to buy their second hot tub from you.
Yeah.
And literally we did that. I remember clerking at a counter and just started talking, because you see how many people a day? Not that many.
Yeah.
And it's really fun to just like engage. And I ended up selling them a new hot tub right over the counter.
That's insane.
And literally, because of the software, you have it side by side.
Yeah.
You can quickly just see their purchase history, go right into a sales order. Like, it just is such a seamless experience.
Yeah. Or create an estimate. That's totally so good.
Yep, exactly.
That's such a good point.
Yeah.
Awesome. Kim, I'm gonna pause again and just see if we have any questions.
Well, I think Francesca just answered it, and is how you motivate your sales clerks and staff to engage with your customers, and you kind of really just answered it. So thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think just kind of circling back to the kits for a second, I think that there's so much power in them. The chemical startup kit is important, but there's other things you can do with kits, because I know suggestive selling in the showroom, in a retail environment, that's their job. They know that. Absolutely. They know that they're salespeople. And they're a little bit more privy to the training that's provided for sales. Yeah. However, we also have salespeople in our company that don't know they're salespeople yet, and they are our technicians. We will tell them that their job is to sell. Their job is to sell, educate, and fix things. They have a huge job, and a lot of our technicians don't want to identify as salespeople, and that's okay. But they are truly trusted advisors out in the field, kind of like a doctor, right?
Yeah, they're in our clients' backyards, like the prime time.
What more intimate of a space than in their own home? And so there's tools that we can use around what we call static kits to make technicians' jobs easier and suggestively selling, right?
Absolutely. Or even, in your back office, your people who are taking, fielding the calls, and they need a new ozone or this and that. And, you've got to have the ozone and the harness and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And you could throw that all into like that dynamic kit. So it's just a fast click. And, something that just popped into my head while we were talking is like, we're always trying to minimize error.
Yes.
Right. And humans, we make errors. I mean, so do robots, so do computers.
Yeah.
We all make problems, but robots tend to make them a little bit less because we can tell them what to do. But that's the super cool thing, I think, too, about the dynamic kit is like it leaves very little room for error.
Yeah.
Because we all know, whether you're selling hot tubs or pools, the SKUs change all the time. Your vendor updates it. You don't update it in time because it's your busy season, right? Like we know how this goes. So having that kit, having the right SKUs in there for your people, so they're not calling their sales manager. They're on which one do I put in? Like it just makes it so easy. So we, again, just reducing room for error. Who has time for that?
Yeah, right. It's between the part numbers, making sure the part numbers are correct, not having to have a parts book in every store so that a technician or a salesperson can sell effectively and sell the right things. And in addition to that, I think again, less room for error, but also, I don't know about you guys, but we're not paying our people $8 an hour. Payroll is really expensive.
Yeah.
These people are extremely valuable. And we want to make sure that their time is utilized taking care of the customer and moving the business forward. Gone are the times of paying people to just do admin, paperwork, checks and balances when we have systems that can do that. You're paying for a system, let it work for you, let it do all of that for you. And if you use kits, again, little room for error, a lot less admin time, and you can just sell really suggestively and add-on sales just come naturally.
Yeah, and I think for like business owners, I think you'll start seeing if you kind of use some of these tips and tricks that departments that were never really revenue generating can be.
Yeah.
And that's something we learned along the way is you can make your non-revenue generating departments have a lot of high revenue, especially if you can get your technicians to, really suggestive sell. Or just getting, we always say just get one more, right? Like what if it's one more test strip or one more chlorine? Like there's just so much you can do.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. Okay, well, we're gonna have some fun here. Let's see if we are awake enough to do this. Put you on the spot. We're gonna do rapid fire, and we are going to give you guys just a few quick questions that you can ask your customers to enable your salespeople, to engage. You want to go first? You want me to go first?
Tell me how long you've had your hot tub for.
When is the last time you used a certified filter cleaner?
How long have you had your hot tub?
How's your hot tub experience been so far?
That's a good one. Have you ever been in our store before?
Oh,
that's a yes or no question. I failed.
Okay.
That was I lose.
Those are just a few questions that your sales pros can ask to engage with people. I think that a great one is, when is the last time you used a certified filter cleaner?
Yeah. No, everyone looks at you like, what? I just rinsed them off with water. I'm like, oh.
And they're like, yeah, you cleaned them.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, how?
Right.
They're like, with the hose. When is the last time that you wiped your counters down with just a paper towel and didn't spray anything on them?
Right.
Or washed your hair with water and no shampoo? Would that be weird?
I'm pretty sure the last time I checked, water doesn't break down oils.
Okay, yeah. So important, right? And it's like those little questions and adding those little finite words make a huge difference. And then you have the filter cleaner discussion, and then it's like, yeah, I have never done that, and I've had these filters for a couple years. Well, maybe we need to have a bigger conversation. Maybe you need new filters. Yeah. Maybe we need to do
your backup there, right? Because you don't want to put really your wet filters back in your hot tub. You should, and you can. There's just room for that, right?
Yeah.
We've made space to have these really engaging conversations,
right? Versus just giving them the bottle of chlorine or just the bottle of filter cleaner, and they're on their way. So
the next time people come in with like nasty water or they're like dripping gray filter, don't shy away from it. Be excited about it, because it really not only can turn into a really large chem sale, but it could be your next hot tub sale. You just don't even know.
It's so true. Or it can be, if you guys have a business that offers other products, billiards tables, pool tables, massage chairs, barbecues, saunas, like just having a conversation with people, you will be shocked as to what people will give you.
Yeah, people, we had a very, very wise person tell us both once people are interesting, so be interested.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I mean, I even get goosebumps to
Yeah.
say, because that literally kind of changed my life. It changed how I engaged with people.
Yeah.
Because everyone is interesting and everyone has a story to tell, and it's our job as sales pros to find out what that is and to help them, right?
Yeah.
To be helpful.
Yeah, and stop trying to just make the sale.
Yeah.
To your point, Francesca, just have a conversation with people.
Yeah.
And they will. People buy from people they like.
So true. And it's not just about the destination, right? It's the journey. It's the journey that really makes it. So.
Yeah, the long game.
The long game.
This is the long game, not a short game for sure. Well, Kim, any final questions before we wrap up?
No questions, but thanks for the interesting conversation. This has been fantastic.
Yeah, you're welcome. Well, I just want to say again, thank you all for joining us today. I hope this conversation was helpful for you. If it was and you'd like to join future webinars, our next webinar is April 10th. It is all about reoccurring revenue. We are going to have a very special guest, Susan from Silk Balance, joining us to talk about reoccurring revenue. We're going to talk about auto ship programs. We're going to talk about just how to keep your company moving along in a tough economic environment. So we're really excited to have that conversation. April 10th, go to our webinars page and register. We'll get you over the link for that. Super excited. And again, thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Francesca, again.
Pleasure.
And we will chat with you all soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye.